This is the Battle of Rafah, and it's also the Battle of Jabalia refugee camp. Just so I can explain to you what's happening in Gaza strategically. The Israelis thought that they have control over Gaza. They've gone from the north all the way to the south to Rafah, and then all of a sudden, Hamas pop up behind them in the middle of Gaza and also up in the north in Jabalia refugee camp. And they're driving the Israelis crazy. The Israelis cannot seem to get their, get a handle on the situation. They're just unable to do anything militarily. You know, we all know they can kill civilians. What's so special about that? Militarily, this is what it looks like. So I've put all the clips together. We're going to go through them, and I'm going to show you exactly where these are happening. So this first clip is in northern Gaza, okay? And it's unbelievable. Please watch this piece of combat journalism. Dude, he cooked him. I mean, that forget the flames. Forget the flames. That's a 50 caliber round. Okay? I mean, that guy is gone. Forget about it. Okay? So that looks like, to me, it looks like it's an it's an incendiary armor piercing round. Okay? So that's why he caught fire. And man, I mean, that is unbelievable, really. Look at the precision. Also, these guys are running. These are moving targets. They're not static or immobile. Okay, so think of how precise this shooter is. This is just one video. The Israelis are falling into traps like you wouldn't believe. They are really getting spanked right now in Gaza. But they won't tell you this. You'll never hear this on CNN. You will never hear this on the BBC because those people are stinking, disgusting propagandists. They don't know how to do news. They don't know how to just talk to you honestly. They have to give you the whole propaganda, right? So at best, they'll tell you about the humanitarian situation, but you won't see this stuff. This guy, by the way, the one I just showed you, okay? So his name is Ariel Zim. He's gone. His friend was also killed by a Palestinian sniper. His friend Osheri Bochak was killed while driving a bulldozer a few months ago. Let's take a look at them. So now I'll show you something, another sniper clip, although this particular clip, I'm not sure of the precise location, but nevertheless, it's worth watching. So you can see him being taken away with the ambulance, okay? So again, that's an indication that he's either wounded at best or at worst, he's gone. Now, this is, again, the best combat journalism in the world today. It really is. It's just raw footage. There's nothing else to see. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that this shows you that the Qassam brigades are targeting military assets, troops, armored vehicles. So that's the difference between the Israelis. The Israelis just kill civilians. To this day, I haven't seen a single clip, not one video, one shred of evidence of Israelis firing at soldiers. I haven't seen it. It's been 7 months, 8 months. Can you find it for me? Because I can't find it. And it's my job to find things. There's nothing out there. The best you'll see is like they're firing at a bunch of doors. It's like some crap curated footage that they've run through 50 people before they can release it, and there's nothing in there. right? You don't actually see what they're firing at. It could be, you know, a ghost. So this is now from Jabalia refugee camp, okay? This is in the heart of the battle, right? So again, just to give you an idea on the map, this is Gaza, okay? This is Jabalia. We're still in the north right now, and this is where the battle is raging. Now, I'll show you this clip of an Israeli armored vehicle being hit with a Yasin 105. Now, the next clip is from Zaytun. Zaytun is just under Jabalia. So they're getting a bunch of mortar shells ready for them.
بسم الله الله أكبر صايبة ولا خايبة يا الله بسم الله
So now you can see the Israelis running away. Now they're running away. And there comes the helicopter. Helicopter usually means get the wounded. That's what it means. Okay? Now we go to the Netzarim corridor or line. So that's lower. You see I'm moving geographically, right? North to south. This is the corridor. It's a buffer zone that the Israelis have created now to divide northern Gaza from southern Gaza. I don't know what they think they're going to achieve with that, but okay. This is the footage from there. Next clip. This is also from Netzarim, same area. Oh, well, I just showed that to you. Now I solved the mystery where the clip was from. So I had it twice. Okay, we've solved the mystery now. Now we're going south all the way to Rafah. Okay, so that's where the second major battle is raging now in Gaza. So again, just so you see on the map, we've got Jabalia over here, Netzarim corridor, and then bottom is Rafah. Okay, so Jabalia and Rafah are where you have the largest or hottest flashpoints. So this following clip is from Rafah. It's also featuring Yasin 105.
والآن سنضرب من ارتفاع 4 بإذن الله.
So you see so far, just to count so far, we've seen rocket propelled grenades, we've seen rockets, we've seen mortars, we've seen snipers. I mean, does this look like a defeated resistance to you? Never mind the fact that they've come up from behind, right, in these areas which the Israelis claim they supposedly cleared. Does this look like a defeated resistance? Does it look like a demoralized or, an ill-equipped resistance or an ineffective resistance? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Remember, 7-8 months now. So now another clip from, this is from the Karam Abu Salim crossing. Okay, so this is the crossing you have down here between, well, they call it Kerem Shalom in Hebrew. So it's not the Rafah crossing, but it's nearby. It's in the same vicinity, so sort of, right? We're still talking about southern Gaza. That's the point.
وما رميت إذ رميت ولكن الله رمى وأشقت صواريخ الرجوم على موقع كرم أبو سالم العسكري. نسأل الله التوفيق والسداد.
Right, you see, it's not like one rocket. It's over and over and over and over. There's no shortage of equipment here, right? I'll keep it going. Right, so the next clip I have for you, also in Rafah, and this is, so on this particular day, this was, I think, before yesterday. So you have the Israelis who said that they lost 4 people. Okay, I'll get back to the figures in a second, but just in the best of cases, it's at least 4 casualties that we're talking about here. You've got helicopters coming in and out every second to fetch wounded. I mean, he's gone. He's gone. Forget about it. I sound like Johnny Depp. Forget about it. But seriously, here's another one. This is in Rafah as well. And you can see here they've got a rocket-propelled grenade. Now they got mortars.
ولنخرجنهم منها أذلة وهم صاغرون. بسم الله الله أكبر.
الله.
You get the idea. You get the idea. Now we've got another clip from the Rafah crossing. This is an APC, an armored personnel carrier that's passing by, and look what happens next. And what I want to impress upon you is the importance of these acts of resistance, because, you know, again, it's from a purely objective, strategic, tactical point of view. This is an undefeated resistance. It's a resistance that has a wide array of weapons, of payloads, of ordnances, of machinery to employ in its acts of resistance, and it's still going strong after 8 months. You know, these are areas that the Israelis thought they had cleared, and then suddenly they're not only having to go back and abandon the recently taken positions, but they're getting, you know, the floor mopped with them. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening right now. Again, don't confuse these two things. Yes, the Israelis are murdering civilians. That's not difficult. When we talk about military affairs, the Israelis are losing. They have been losing the entire time. They have been losing since October 7th. And so just yesterday, the Israelis admitted that they lost 50 soldiers. So that's both non-commissioned officers, NCOs, officers, and grunts, right? All of them together, 50 troops in one day. Now, they wouldn't specify whether they were all wounded or whether they were all killed. I have it on good authority that 9 of them are completely incapacitated, right? They're never coming back to a battlefield, okay? And among them was a brigadier general. So that's the highest ranking Israeli that's been wounded in the war yet. And this is from just 3 hours ago. Another 5 Israelis and 1 contractor seriously wounded in southern Gaza. So this is Rafah and so on. Now look, as I told you, every side in history, every country, every entity, every group will always seek to maximize the gains and minimize the losses. This is normal. But the Israelis, we know that they are lying about their figures. We know because they lie about everything. They lie about everything. When do they ever tell the truth? Right? They even lie to their own people. So you cannot tell me that they have only lost 700 troops in this entire war. That is a joke. If they admit to 50 in one day, just yesterday, you can say the figure is at least double. And that's just one day. So I'm not going to give you the exact number, but I will tell you with utmost certainty that they are lying about the figures. They are minimizing their losses, both the wounded and the killed, without question. Once again, you see the difference. When it comes to Hamas, everybody knows they tell the truth about the numbers. The UN say this, the WHO, every single organization, they say Hamas figures are accurate, always. That's a difference. That's a big difference. And I'll show you this article as well from Haaretz. This is also recent. You have 10 Israeli soldiers that have taken their own lives since October 7th, okay? Actually, these were just in the last, hold on, when was this? This was in the last couple of months. So from, yeah, since January, okay? You have 10 Israeli soldiers that have taken their own lives for various reasons. I think, obviously, psychological trauma from the war. Forgive me. It's actually 10 between October 7th and December 31st. Okay, you had 6, and then another 4 between January 1st and May 11th. Okay, but still 10 in total. Now, again, these are just figures that the Israelis admit to. I think that is much higher. It's just like with the Americans. The Americans, every single day, 22 of them commit suicide, right, for veterans, which is normal because, you know, you look at what they have done around the world. You know, what do you want me to say? I mean, if you look at Vietnam, for example, you have more soldiers, U.S. soldiers that killed themselves than were actually killed in combat. If we look at from Vietnam until now, so the majority of deaths are soldiers taking their own lives. It's not in combat. So you can just take that as a frame of reference from Vietnam until now, and just apply that to what the Israelis are doing in Gaza and think, well, that might also be the case. So if they lost 700 in battle, how much have actually taken their lives? Only 10? I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that for 1 second. But I'm telling you what they are saying, okay? So again, that's called being balanced. I don't hide from you what the Israelis are saying. I read it to you, plain sight. So one more thing I'll add is that the Israelis are being struck not just inside Gaza, but even in occupied Palestine. So for example, in Beersheba, right? Let's look at that clip. This is the damage. This is the damaged floor and concrete and just the result of the Hamas strike, okay? I'll show you the strike first and then the damage. Maybe we'll do it that way. Okay, so this is from just before yesterday, this strike. Right, so here's another aspect of the strike, another angle.
ولكن بفضل الله المجاهدون يطلقون الرشقات من تحت الركام ومن المناطق التي وصلها العدو الصهيوني، وبإذن الله الغلبة لعباد الله المؤمنين الموحدين الصابرين المحتسبين، كتائب الشهيد عز الدين القسام.
Yeah, and now let's take a look at the damage.
Wow.
Now, once again, what is the image that we receive, that we can take away from all of this? Is that Hamas is still going strong and the Israelis are losing. Hamas are not only able to resist against the Israelis inside of Gaza, but on top of that, they're able to resist against the Israelis across Gaza. And on top of that, they are able to fire at the Israelis inside of quote unquote Israel. So none of Hamas's operational capability has been reduced. None of it. They are still able to strike in Israel. Like it's October 6th or October 7th. Nothing has changed. What does this mean? It means that the Israelis, with all their fancy equipment and their armaments and all the military aid that they receive from the United States and also the participants of the United States itself, has achieved absolutely nothing. What have they yielded from all these efforts? Zero. They are a pathetic diaper force. A pathetic diaper force. The Israelis are the most pathetic army in modern history. They really are. I've never seen such a pathetic, abysmal performance. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. They're not even fighting another country. They're fighting a guerrilla force. Now, again, actually, guerrilla force is one of the most difficult things to fight. So it's not like it's, easy going. But nevertheless, they have this image. They tout themselves as being the best. And they're so smart. They have such, great military intelligence and all these things like Iron Dome and Arrow and David Sling. Yeah. And what are you able to achieve with that? What have you achieved with all of this equipment? Zero, nothing. You haven't rescued any hostages. I mean, you got 3, but if we subtract the ones you killed, well, you're already in the negative. And if we look at Hamas, not just there as a political party, but there as an armed resistance and wiping the floor with you. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. They made a mockery of you. You have to remember that this is like a continuation of October 7th. Do you understand? That day when Hamas paraglided over that stupid, useless wall, it's never stopped. The humiliation never stopped. It's never stopped. And so the Israelis do the only thing the Israelis know how to do. They butcher civilians because they are coward. They're a bunch of cowards in diapers. That's what they are. They are cowards wearing diapers. I mean that literally. They actually wear diapers, but that's besides the point. I'll show you one last clip. This is a message from Hamas basically showing that they are still, they're up and going. They're up and running. They've still got not just ammunition, troops, but they even have time to train. Look at this. I'll just remind you of another aspect is that the Israelis have dropped so many bombs over Gaza that there's a certain amount of them that don't work. It's called a dud rate. So if you drop 100 bombs, one of them won't work. For example, it's a manufacturing defect. And so the point is that, and this has happened before. The point is that Hamas can collect the unexploded ordnance and just put it to use. They can make IEDs out of it, improvised explosive devices. They can do anything, right? They can fashion it into a rocket or into a mortar, and we've seen them do that before, and they've struck Israelis with it. So it's not something that we're just hypothesizing. They've actually done this, and they can do it. There's so much ammunition. I mean, we are talking about an incalculable amount of ammunition that has been dropped on Gaza. Remember, they have done more to Gaza than was done to Dresden, for example, or Hiroshima, right? If you calculate not the amount of radiation, but just the kilos of TNT of explosives that have been detonated on Gaza, it's more than that. So just imagine for a second what Hamas can do with that. And of course, if you're concerned about if you're concerned about losing forces, which is ridiculous because the Israelis are the ones that are losing great numbers of soldiers. But even then, let's say, for example, Hamas had a troop shortage. Well, you've got all these people who have been bombed by the Israelis, who have been terrorized and starved and butchered by the Israelis, that are more than happy to join the resistance. So there's no shortage of ammunition and there's no shortage of forces, okay? And just like we're seeing right now in Rafah and in Jabalia, this is going to continue, booby traps being fashioned, mortars, rockets, rocket-propelled grenades. There's everything. right? Snipers, mines. There's nothing that Hamas can't do. And I'm telling you this because it's a very different, the reality of what's happening in Gaza is a very different image from what's being projected by the news corporations who are just lying, you know? As I said, at best, they'll tell you how bad the situation is in Gaza, and even then they'll only speak for like 5 minutes before going back to Israeli propaganda, but they will never, ever show you the failures of the Israeli army because it's so humiliating. Just remember that. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. You know, telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.